अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, क्या हाल है आप लोगों के? Yes, X is the correct answer. I think you guys must have solved this earlier as well. Now, in the math stream also I gave the same question. So, X is the correct answer. Good job, Bilal. Good job, Amil. Good job, Rampagers. Good job, Ali, Iman, Ishal, Amin, Aisha. Good job. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Hamza, Rumesa. Yeah, good job. Okay, so let's start. Today's stream is about, well, it's not about differentiation, it's about rates of change and small change. Okay, you'll find this worksheet in the description of this video. Okay, now I will be solving, for the most part, I will be solving questions related to rates of change and small change. So I've highlighted a few questions. Okay, now in between, we will come across some questions that revolve around maybe stationary value or stuff like that. So we'll solve those as well. Okay, but first I will try and solve the questions that deal with just rates of change and small change. Okay. Okay, so for example, this question over here, let's solve this. Let's see what this says. Okay, now so this is from October-November 2012, paper 2, variant 2. Okay, now what it says is, here's what it says. It says the total surface area A centimeter square of a solid cylinder. So as you're reading, highlight what you think is important. So I think the word solid cylinder is very important, so I'm going to underline that. Acha. With radius r and height 5 centimeter is given by so and so. Okay. With radius r and height 5 centimeter is given by, ठीक है, given that r is increasing at a rate of 0.2 upon pi. अच्छा, इसका क्या मतलब है? Whenever the question says a certain value is increasing, and with the unit you notice some length, like for example centimeter, meter, and then you notice second minus 1. So that means it is the rate of change of that value with respect to time. So for example, here the question says the given that r is increasing at a rate, so this means dr upon dt. If it was, let's say, the volume is increasing at a certain rate, then it would have been dv upon dt. If it was, let's say, area, it would have been dA upon dt. Okay, so let's read the entire question, then we'll start writing down the important piece of information. So it says, given that r is increasing at a rate of so and so, find the rate of increase of a when r is 6. So first of all, we are told that r is increasing at a certain rate. So that means dr upon dt is equal to 0.2 upon pi centimeter per second. Okay, centimeter per second likho ya centimeter second minus 1 likho, it's the same thing. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, then it says find the rate of increase of a. So finding the rate of increase of a basically means that we have to find dA by dt. Okay, and when do we have to find it? We have to find it when r is equals to 6. Okay, so always do this do these initial steps where you write down what it is that you're given and you write down what it is that you have to find and when do you have to find it. Okay, doing these initial steps is very, very important. Okay, so that you sort of find yourself a direction and you know exactly where you're headed. Asha, I forgot to say this earlier. Those of you who are watching, if you guys would just like the stream, that would mean a lot, and do subscribe also if you haven't done that yet. Okay, Acha, now let's get back to work. So basically, let's see what is the information that we have. So first thing that we need to do is we need to make something that's called a chain rule. Okay, so we need to make a chain rule which we can then use to find dA upon dt. Now because this is the first question, I'm not gonna write it in detail every single time, so I'm doing it now. So we need to make a chain rule to find dA upon dt. Okay, now the way this works is it's very easy. A lot of people make a big deal about making a chain rule, but it's actually very, very easy. Okay, so you need to multiply two fractions such that once you've multiplied them, you end up with dA upon dt. Okay, So that means the numerator of the first fraction is going to be the same as the numerator of what you're trying to find, okay? And then the denominator of the second fraction will also be the same as the denominator of what you're trying to find, which is dt in this case. Acha. Then we have to we need to decide what goes over here. Now, whatever goes over here has to be the same, okay? Whatever goes over here has to be the same, okay? But just remember that it has to be relevant to the question. So for example, I can't just plug in dh over here, okay? I can't have dh over here and dh over here because there's no concept of height in this question, okay? There's nothing to do with the question. There's nothing related to height in the question, okay? Yes, you're given the height, okay, but then that's it, okay? There's nothing else. Achha. Just like that, I can't have dv over here because again, there's no volume in the question. So what's common in this question, what will go over here is dr, because dr is what's relevant in the question, okay? Now, once you've done this, yes, dr, good job. Once you've done this, then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to see what it is that we have and what it is that we don't have. Achha, let me answer a few questions here. Beta, this is IGCSE Math का पेपर हुआ है. Title तो पढ़ो क्या लिखा हुआ है. IGCSE Ad Maths लिखा हुआ है. मुझे पता है Math का पेपर हो गया. I'm talking. This is IGCSE Ad Maths. Sir, how can we know that this is video for IGCSE? So as far as Ad Maths is concerned, it's the same, okay? For as far as Ad Maths is concerned, Maths is different, but Ad Maths is the same. The paper is the same. The dates are the same. Everything's the same. The topic, syllabus, everything's the same, basically. Okay, which is why you will see IGCSE / O level, okay? Okay, then what else? Did I miss anything? Next group will start in August, okay? Registrations will start in July. Classes will start in August. Abhi chill kare. Abhi, if you've just got done with exams, then just take a break, okay? Okay, now, so as far as dr upon dt goes, that's something we already have, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's put a check mark there. What we have to worry about is actually dA upon dr, okay? That's what we have to find. Acha, how do we find that out? Let's see. So we have area that is equal to 2 pi r square plus 10 pi r. Now, what is it that I can do to this equation that will give me dA upon dr? Now, dA upon dr basically means that you've differentiated area with respect to r. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do dA upon dr, and that will give me what? That will give me dA upon dr. There you go. So 2 pi r square, which if you differentiate it becomes 4 pi r, and 10 pi r becomes 10 pi, okay? Now notice that you're given the value of r. The value of r is 6, so that's what you plug in. So 4 into pi into 6 plus 10 pi. So 4 into pi into 6 will be 24 pi. 24 pi plus 10 pi will be 34 pi. So dA upon dr, as we can see, is 34 pi. Okay, now hold on to that. Achha. Now we have everything we need in order to find out dA upon dt. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put this information together and find ourselves dA upon dt. So dA upon dr, which as we saw is 34 pi, multiplied by what? Multiplied by dr upon dt, which as you can see is 0.2 upon pi. Now thankfully, pi and pi get cancelled out, and all you have to do is take 34 multiplied by 0.2. That gives you 6.8. So dA upon dt is equals to what? Is equals to 6.8. Now because it's area, and area is in centimeter square and time is in seconds, so you can write centimeter square per second. Although if you don't, it's not like you're going to lose marks or anything. Okay, so there you go. That's it. That's your answer. Now take a good look at it. Let me know what your thoughts are and let me know if it's clear. चलें ये सवाल करते हैं. Okay, good to hear that. Now question number 18, let's see what it says. This, by the way, is from May-June 2013, paper 2, variant 1. Okay, again, this is a rates of change question. Like I said, I will be hand-picking rates of change and small change questions and solving those only. So it says variables x and y related by the equation, where x is in between 0 and pi by 2, Given that x is increasing at a rate of 0.2 radians per second, find the corresponding rate of change of y when y is equals to 8. Okay, now step by step, let's write down the important information. So first of all, what's important is obviously the equation of the curve, okay, or how x and y are related. So they're related by the equation 10 minus 4 sine squared x, okay. Now notice that you're also given the range of x. Now there has to be a reason behind it, okay. It's not random. There has to be a reason behind the question giving us the range of x, okay. And we'll find that out later. It's only a matter of time. Then it says, given that x is increasing at a rate of 0.2 radians per second. So that means dx upon dt is equal to what? Is equal to 0.2 radians per second. Okay, there's no need to write actually radians per second, so we'll just write it as 0.2. Okay. Now the question is asking us to find what? The question is asking us to find out rate of change of y. Okay, so that means we need to find out dy upon dt. And when do we want it? We want it when y is equals to 8. Okay, so all I've done so far is I've just taken the question and extracted the important information. Okay. Okay, so first step is let's make a chain rule for dy by dt. Okay, how can we make a chain rule for dy by dt? Remember, the numerator of the first fraction is going to be equal to dy. The denominator of the second fraction is going to be equal to dt. Now what goes over here has to be the same and has to be common. It has to be relevant to the question. So what's common and relevant? dx. Okay, अब इधर मैं randomly dr नहीं डाल दूंगा, although dr से भी ultimately वही चीज़ बनेगी, but like I said, it has to be in context with the question. So dr has no context over here, but dx is what's relevant over here. So as far as dx upon dt goes, that we have. That means now we have a new objective, and the objective is we need to find out dy by dx. Okay, so how can we find dy by dx? We can find out dy by dx by simply differentiating the equation of the curve. So what's the equation of the curve? It's 10 minus 4 sine squared x. So let me ask you guys this question. What will be the differential of 10 minus 4 sine squared x? Question for you guys. Let's see. कितनी याद है आप लोगों को differentiation? What will be the differential of 10 minus sine squared x? So 10 minus 4 sine squared x. Eight sine x. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? 8 sine x? Anyone else? Yes, it's going to be minus 8 sine x cos x. So basically 10, when you differentiate that, is going to be 0. Okay. And then when you differentiate this, first you differentiate the power. So when you differentiate the power, it becomes 8 sine x. And then you multiply this by the differential of the trigonometric function. So sine x, which is cos x. So this is what you end up with. You end up with minus 8 sine x into cos x. Okay. Now notice that we're given the value of y. Okay. This is, by the way, dy by dx. All right. This is dy by dx. Let's write this over here nicely. Okay. Now, normally you would expect the question to give us the value of x. Okay. But that's not the case over here, sadly. So no problem. We're actually given the value of x. Okay. Now we're actually given the value of y. Now using the value of y, we can find out the value of x. So notice that y is equals to 8. So that's what we're going to do. 8 is equals to 10 minus 4 sine square x. Okay, so take the 4 sine square x over to the other side. So it becomes positive. Bring the 8 over to this side. So 10 minus 8 equals to 2. And sine square x is equals to 1 upon 2. Then if you take the square root on both sides, here's what you have. You have sine x equals to plus minus 1 upon 2 inside the square root. Okay. Now sine x, if it's equal to plus minus 1 upon 2, that means sine x could be equal to positive 1 upon 2. Okay, positive 1 upon under root 2, since the square root of 1 is 1. So that's why we might as well not write 1 inside the square root. Or sine x is equal to minus 1 upon under root 2. Now the thing is, notice that this means that all 4 quadrants are possible. Because sine is positive as well as negative, that means all 4 quadrants are possible. So here's 0. Here's pi upon 2, here's pi, here's 3 upon 2 pi. By the way, make sure your calculator is in radian mode for this one. Okay, so like I said, that all four quadrants are possible. Acha. Let's find out alpha, like we will normally. So in order to find out alpha, we'll say alpha is equals to sine inverse of 1 upon under root 2. Sine inverse of 1 upon under root 2, which is 45 degrees in, which is 45 in degrees. Let's see what it is in radian. Sine inverse of 1 divided by under root 2. So it's 1 upon 4 pi. Okay. Now my question to you guys is this. Because it's positive as well as negative, that means it's going to be in the first, second, third, and fourth quadrant. Now what quadrant are we going to take? Are we going to take the first quadrant? Are we going to take the second, third, fourth? Are we going to take all four? So that's a question for you guys while I'm writing this. 1 upon 4 pi here, 1 upon 4 pi here, 1 upon 4 pi over here, and 1 upon 4 pi over here. So what value of x am I going to take over here? So here's the entire question. That might help. Tell me. कौन सी लें कौन सी रिजेक्ट करें? Two. What do you mean 2? First, that is correct. We will take the first value. Now, why will we take the first value? That is because the question says so, that x is between pi 0 and pi by 2. So that is why we will take the first value, which is pi by 4. So here we will write that x is equals to 1 upon 4 pi. Now this is the value that we're going to plug in, dy by dx. So if you plug this in dy by dx, here's what we get. We get minus 8 sine 1 upon 4 pi, or pi upon 4, and then cos also multiplied by 1 upon 4 pi. Okay, so that's what we get. Let's see, minus 8 sine into pi upon 4 cos multiplied by pi upon 4. So dy by dx turns out to be minus 4. Okay. So if dy by dx is minus 4, that's all we need in order to in order to find dy by dt. So dy by dt is going to be equal to minus 4, since that's what dy by dx is, into dx upon dt, which the question already gave us as 0.2. So now there you go. Solve this. 0.4 minus 4 into 0.2 is going to be minus 0.8. And there you go. That's your answer. You can write it in decimal form. You can write it in fraction form. But this is what your final answer is going to be. Now again, take a good look at it. This was a 6-mark question. So obviously if it's a 6-mark question, you can expect a decent amount of working required to solve it. And this is it. This is your answer. अब देखें इसको, मुझे बताएं कि समझ आया. No, I don't teach at city school. Yes, yes. I don't teach at city school anymore. That was a long time ago. Okay. I'm coming to Paragon. What is Paragon? I don't even know what Paragon is. Okay, I'm not going to explain it in detail, but I'll give you a quick recap. So basically, you have the equation that's connecting x and y. You're given dx upon dt, which is 0.2. You need to find dy upon dt when y is 8. Okay, so first things first, you set up a chain rule. All right, now once you've set up a chain rule, you'll know exactly what you have and exactly what you need. So looking at the chain rule, we know that we now need dy by dx. So dy by dx can be found by differentiating the equation of the curve. So this is what we end up with. Now normally we need the value of x in order to find out the value of dy by dx. So we can't do that because we don't have the value of x. But we've been compensated by being given the value of y. So we plug in the value of y in the equation of the curve. We find the value of x. When we're finding out the value of x, we keep this in mind that x is in between 0 and pi by 2. Okay. So what's the one value that's in between 0 and pi by 2? It's this, pi upon 4, which is why we only take the first quadrant. Okay? Acha. Then here's 1 upon 4 pi. This is the value of x, which now goes into dy by dx. So the value of dy by dx is equal to minus 4. And now you can find out dy by dt by replacing dy by dx with minus 4. And dx upon dt is something that we already had. Paragon swimming pool. ओके सर आपकी शक्ल मेरे एक सर समझ से मिलती है ओके गुड फॉर हिम आई गेस खैर आई एम जस्ट जोकिंग ओके next question so let's do this is a small change question. Okay, so it says here the variables x and y related are such that y is equals to ln 3x minus 1. All right, find dy by dx. Okay, so we can find dy by dx. So y is equals to ln 3x minus 1. So we have to differentiate this. How do you differentiate this? Can you tell any must come topic in P1? That's not the case, but AdMath के जो दो papers होते हैं, they're there only to split the syllabus. Okay, so do not think there are certain topics for P1 and certain topics for P2. Okay, both of the papers are exactly the same format, same everything. Okay, so yeah, dy by dx is equals to 3 upon 3x minus 1. Okay. Yesterday was your math P1? How's that possible? Where are you from? And what paper are you talking about? Okay, so now that we have dy by dx, which is 3 upon 3x minus 1, we can now find out the approximate change in x when y increases from this to that. Okay, so first of all, let's write down the formula. Now remember, small change in y over small change in x is approximately equal to dy by dx. So what we need to do is we need to see that there is a small change in y. Okay, so y was initially ln 1.2 and now it has gone to ln 1.2 plus 0.125. So what is the small change in y? The small change in y is 0.125. So we have the small change in y. We need to find out the small change in x, and we also need to have dy by dx in order to do that. So the question is nice in the sense that it has already made us find out dy by dx. It's 3 over 3x minus 1. But normally here we need to have a value of x which we can then plug in to find out the actual value of dy by dx. But we don't have that. But we've been compensated. Okay, we've been compensated by being given the initial value of y. Okay, so remember this ln 1.2 is basically the initial value of y. ये y की initial value, this is what y is equal to. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this initial value of y in order to find out the initial value of x. So y was equal to what? ln 3x minus 1. So ln of 1.2 is equal to ln of 3x minus 1. So ln से ln cancel हुआ. 1.2 equals to 3x minus 1. So 1.2 plus 1 equals to 3x. 1.2 plus 1 upon 3 is equals to x. So 1.2 plus 1, let's see what that is. 1.2 plus 1 divided by 3. So keep it in fraction form. 1.2 plus 1 divided by 3. So that's 11 upon 15. Okay. So x equals to 11 upon 15. Now this is the initial value of x that we were looking at, that we wanted. And this is what we're now going to plug in. So now that we have the initial value of x, 11 upon 15, we're going to plug it in. So 3 upon 3 into 11 upon 15 minus 1. So I'm going to use a calculator over here. Okay. So dy by dx is equal to what? Dy by dx is equal to 5 upon 2. Now if dy by dx is equals to 5 upon 2, this was the only, you can say, the missing piece of the puzzle. Now we have everything to find out the small change in x. So we have the small change in y, which is 0.125. The small change in x is what we are supposed to find out, is approximately equal to 5 upon 2. Now cross multiply, make the small change in x the subject. So this is what you end up with, 0.125 times 2 upon 5. So this is what small change in x is equal to. 0.125 into 2 divided by 5. So we're looking at 0.05. And that's the answer. Let me check. Yep, 0.05 is the correct answer. So small change in x is approximately equal to 0.05. There you go. That's your answer. Class 9 city. Okay, so you're doing coordinate geometry in class 9? Okay, that's cool. Okay, so there you go. Let me know what your thoughts are on this question. सर आप कैसे कर लेते हैं, मुझे से तो नहीं होता. बेटा प्रैक्टिस चाहिए होती है इसके लिए. Obviously nobody is gifted. I mean, nobody is able to do this without any practice, so you need practice for this. आप भी प्रैक्टिस करती ना, आपसे भी हो जाएगा इंशाल्लाह. Life is a pizza and advance. Well, some people like pineapple on pizza. Okay, so let's do more questions. You guys want to do like a really difficult question now? Like an insanely difficult question. This is what I'm talking about, by the way. ये देख के पहले ही सबकी होश उड़ जाना है. ये और ये दोनों. So let me know if let me know if you guys want to do an insanely difficult question, or you guys want to do some more relatively easier questions. I think let's do another slightly easier question. Okay, let's do this, and then we'll do that as well. Sir, can you please explain non-linear into linear graph? Okay, so you're talking about linear law? You're talking about, I think you're talking about linear law. Is that what you're talking about? If you're talking about linear law, then don't worry, linear law is lined up. Okay. Anyway, so let's do this question. This is fairly easy. Okay, let's do this one question and then we'll do those insanely difficult questions. Okay. Okay, now, so here's a question which says the radius r centimeter of a circle is increasing at a rate of 5 centimeter second. Find in terms of pi the rate at which the area of the circle is increasing when r is equals to 3. Okay. Beta, there is no need to beg. What are you begging for to begin with, Vese? Okay, I don't know what you're begging for, but yeah, there's no need to do that anyway. So the radius of a circle the radius r centimeter of a circle is increasing at a rate of 5 centimeter per second. Okay, so that means dr upon dt is equals to 5 centimeter per second. Okay. Find in terms of pi the rate at which the area of the circle is increasing. So that means we need to find dA upon dt. Okay, and when do we want this? We want this when r is equals to 3. Okay, so this is just me writing down the information. Okay, now let's set up a chain rule which will then give us dA upon dt. Sir, please tell us about quadratic graphs and how to. Okay, if you're talking about admaths, then okay, I haven't really planned to do a stream on it, but let me see if I can find out the time to do that. Okay, so here's how we'll set up the chain rule. The numerator of the first fraction will be dA, the denominator of the second fraction will be dt. अब यहाँ पे क्या आएगा? यहाँ पे obviously something common and also relevant. So what's common and relevant is dr. So as far as dr upon dt goes, that is something we already have. As far as dA upon dr goes, that's something we need to find out. Okay, so what's area equal to? Area of a circle is pi r square. What about dA upon dr? That we can find by simply differentiating the equation. So that's 2 pi r. Okay, beta, I've read your message and responded. Okay, so please stop spamming now. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to, yeah, do that. Okay, so dA upon dr. What's r equal to? R is equals to 3. So dA upon dr is equal to 2 pi into 3. So 2 into pi into 3 is 6 pi. So there you go. dA upon dr is equals to 6 pi. So that's it. We have everything we need in order to find out dA upon dt. So dA upon dt is equals to dA upon dr, which is 6 pi, into dr upon dt, which is 5. So there you go. 30 pi is your answer. 30 pi. Let's keep it in terms of pi only. The question doesn't say that you have to give it in decimal or something like that. Okay. So 30 pi is the correct answer. Okay. So like I said, this was a fairly easy question. Now let's do one of those insanely difficult questions. क्या ख्याल है? रेडी हैं आप लोग? Khair, you can never be ready for the question that I'm about to solve. Okay, now. So this, by the way, is from May June 2018, paper 2, variant 1. So it says here a water container is in the shape of a triangle. Okay, let's bring it on. Okay, so it says water container is in the shape of a triangular prism. The diagram shows the container and its cross section. Okay, the cross section of the water in the container is an isosceles triangle ABC. Okay, with ABC, angle ABC equals to angle BAC, which is equal to 30 degrees. Okay, then let's see what it says. The length AB is x and the depth of the water is h. Okay, the length AB is x and the depth of the water is h. The length of the container is 5. Show that x is equals to 2/3 of h. And hence find the volume of the water in the container in terms of h. Okay, so first of all, we need to find out the value of x. Now, x निकालना इतना मुश्किल नहीं है. Actually, x निकालना is pretty easy. ठीक है? But if you're 9, तो my question is, why are you here to begin with? Okay. चाहे आप कार्टून देखें, ठीक है, या आपके देखने की चीज़ नहीं है बेटा. Okay, now, so here is the triangle that we're going to use. Okay, now bear in mind that when we find out x, when we find out this length over here, जिसको मैं a कह रहा हूँ, ठीक है, we'll have to double it at the end. Why? Because what we've done is we've basically divided into 2. So here's what I'm doing. X is equals to what? X is equals to 2a. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out a. And notice that we have to find out x in terms of h. So this is actually pretty simple. All you have to do is this. Just draw the triangle separately. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw the triangle separately. So here it is. Here's h, here's 90, here's 30 degrees, okay, and here's a. So we're going to find out the value of a. Okay, अब a की value कैसे निकालें? What trigonometric ratio can we use over here? So what we have opposite of 30 is h, so that's the opposite length, and a is the adjacent length. So that means we can use tan. So tan 30 equals to opposite, which is h, upon adjacent, which is a. So if you make a the subject, here's what you get. You get h upon tan 30. Okay, so h upon tan 30 is what you end up with. Now make sure that your calculator is in degree mode for this one. So tan 30 is equal to root 3 upon 3. So a is equals to h upon root 3 upon 3. ठीक है? Okay, now let me make sure that I've done everything correctly. Opposite upon adjacent. ठीक है? Okay. Now when you divide this by 1, so आपका h ultimately पता है क्या बनेगा? आपका a ultimately बनेगा root 3h. Okay, when you simplify this is what you end up with. You end up with root 3h. Okay. Now remember, x is equals to what? X is equals to 2a. So that means x is equals to 2 into root 3h. So x is equals to 2 under root 3h. And there you go. This is the value of x. Okay. Now इसमें ऐसा इतनी कोई rocket science नहीं है. Just remember that what you found is basically half of what you were supposed to find out, which is why we've multiplied it by 2 to find out what we were actually supposed to find out. Okay, and there you go. That's it. Then it says, and hence find the volume of the container. Okay, volume of water in the container. So volume of water कैसे निकालेंगे? Volume, basically it's a prism. Okay, it's a prism. So how do you find out the volume of a prism? It's basically area of cross section multiplied by the length of prism. Okay, now the question is very kind in the sense that it hasn't made us find out the area of cross section, but it has made us find out what we need in order to find out the area of cross section. Now as far as area of cross section is concerned, notice that the cross section is an isosceles triangle with base 2 under root 3h, okay, and height as h. So this question is very nice in the sense that it has made us find out the base 2 under root 3h, and height also we've technically worked it out. Height also we're technically given. It's h. Okay. So this through this we will get the, yes, just use a calculator. Okay, you don't need to memorize all the values. So how would be a root 3h? Okay, so इसको simplify करो ना. देखो, basically this is h divided by under root 3 upon 3. Okay, and h, this becomes what? This becomes this h into 3 upon under root 3. Okay, so this is what you have. You have 3h upon under root 3. अब आप इसको rationalize कर लें. When you rationalize this, just use your calculator for this, honestly. Okay, multiply this by root 3 and multiply this by root 3, so you get 3 under root 3 upon root 3 into 3. Don't forget the h. Root 3 into 3 is 3, so this gets cancelled out, and now you have, all of this was a, by the way. A is equals to under root 3h, and then just multiply it by 2, so x is equals to 2 under root 3h. So अब मैंने क्या किया था? मैंने ये किया था basically 1 को मैंने divide कर दिया by root 3 upon 3, and then next to it I wrote h. ठीक है? Okay, if your calculator is giving decimal, then get yourself one of these calculators, the natural display calculators. Okay, in this you can see the exact value. Okay, you can see the exact value, and you don't even have to rationalize manually. You can just use your calculator for that. Okay, all right. So we were finding out the volume of the prism, so let's do that. The volume of the prism will be equal to half into base into height. That means half into 2 under root 3h into h. Okay, this will give us the area of cross section multiplied by the length, which if I remember correctly is 5. Yep, it's 5. So that's it. That gives us the volume. So this 2 and this 2 gets cancelled out, and we have root 3 h square into 5, which if you write it nicely can be written as 5 under root 3 h squared. There you go. That's it. That's your answer. So what do you guys think? Was it really insanely difficult, or you think I might have exaggerated a little? Let me know what your thoughts are, so we can move on to the next part. Easy question? Okay, chala, I'm glad you guys feel that way. Great. Now here's part 2. Part 2 says the container is filled at a rate of 0. It was meh. 0.5 meter cube per minute. Okay, now it was difficult. Okay, chala. Let's see. I'm good, Hamad. Thank you for asking. What about you? So now let's do part 2. The container is filled at a rate of 0.5 meter cube per minute. So what are we talking about over here? We're talking about the change of volume, dV upon dt. Okay, so we're talking about dV upon dt to be equal to 0.5. Okay, then it says at the instant when h is equals to 0.25, find the rate at which h is increasing. So that means we need to find out dh upon dt, and we need to do that when h is equals to 0.25. Okay, now, oh ouch, it was not difficult, I was making it difficult. Ouch, that hurt. Okay, so dh upon dt के लिए chain rule बनाते हैं. The chain rule is going to be dh in the numerator, dt in the denominator, and here will have something common, and obviously it has to be relevant to the question. So what's common and also relevant in the question? It is x. No, it's not x. Let me see. It is dv. Yeah, it's dv. Okay. Now, dv upon dt is something that we already have. We need to somehow find out dh upon dv. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, dh upon dv. So I'm glad we have a question like this. So basically, notice that the question has already made us find out the volume in terms of h. It turned out to be 5 under root 3 h squared. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to differentiate this. Now you may be thinking that if we differentiate this, we will end up with dv upon dh, whereas we're supposed to have dh upon dv. So what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do with dv upon dh so that it turns into dh upon dv? So 2 into 5 is what? Is 10. 10 under root 3 h. Now we need the initial value of h. We have that. It's 0.25. So let's plug that in. dv upon dh is equals to 10 under root 3 into 0.25. So we're looking at 5 upon 2 under root 3. Yep, reciprocal, simple. So if dv upon dh is 5 upon 2 under root 3, then dh upon dv will simply be the reciprocal of it, okay? So it's going to be 2 upon 5 under root 3. So we've taken the reciprocal now, okay? Now we have everything we need in order to find out dh upon dt, so we're going to do that. Dh upon dt will be equal to dh upon dv, which means 2 upon 5 under root 3 multiplied by dv upon dt, and dv upon dt is equal to what? Is equal to 0.5. Okay, so let's do that into 0.5. So we're looking at root 3 upon 15. Okay, let's see if that's the correct answer. Root 3 upon 15. 0.115. Yep, 0.115. So dh upon dt is equals to, I will prefer to write it as in exact form, which is root 3 upon 15. साथ में चाहो तो decimal लिख लो. 0.115, correct to 3 significant figures. So there you go. That's it. That's the answer. The rate at which x is increasing. Okay, that's interesting. Now we need to find out dx upon dt. अब dx upon dt निकालने के लिए भी हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? हमें एक चेन रूल बनाना पड़ेगा. Okay. अब ये चेन रूल कैसे बनेगा? dx यहाँ पे dx आएगा और यहाँ पे क्या आएगा? यहाँ पे dt आएगा. Okay. अच्छा, what should we do next? Well, the next thing that we should have is that we should have something common over here. Okay, so what's common that we have? We have dv, that's common. So there you go. We have dx upon dv into dv upon dt. As far as dv upon dt goes, that we already have. dv upon dt is 0.5. Okay. Now as far as dx upon dv goes, that's something that we will have to find out. Now how can we find that out? Notice that volume we worked out to be equal to what? We worked out the volume to be equal to किधर गया 5 under root 3 h squared, and also remember that x is equals to what? X is equals to 2 under root 3. X is equals to 2 under root 3 h. So अगर हम h को subject बना लें, okay, so h can be equal to x upon 2 under root 3. Okay, so now the volume is equal to 5 under root 3 into x upon 2 under root 3 whole squared. Now for this, well, you don't really have to use a calculator, actually ऐसे ही हो जाएगा. So 5 under root 3 into x square upon 4 into 3, इसको थोड़ा simplify कर लेते हैं. In fact नहीं कर सकते simplify, so we'll just let it be. So volume is equals to 5 upon 12 under root 3 x square. Then if you differentiate this, dv upon dx किसके बराबर आ जाएगा? dv upon dx is going to be equal to 2 into 5, which is 10. So 10 upon 12. 10 upon 12 under root 3x. Now we need the initial value of x. Now initial value of x जो है हम कैसे निकालेंगे? Initial value of x हम लेंगे 0.25 से. Okay. So x की जो initial value होगी 2 under root 3 into 0.25. So let's see what that is. 2 under root 3 into 0.25. So x is equals to under root 3 upon 2. Okay. Now dv upon dx is equals to 10 upon 12 under root 3 into under root 3 upon 2. अब ये काफ़ी कुछ simplify हो जाएगा. Now just use your calculator for this. That's what I would advise. 10 upon 12 into under root 3 into under root 3 upon 2. So dv upon dx turns out to be 5 upon 4, and that's it. We have everything we need now. Acha, this is dv upon dx. So in order to turn this into dx upon dv, that would be equal to 4 upon 5. So 4 upon 5 into 0.5. Let's work this out. That's equal to 2 upon 5. So dx upon dt is equals to what? Dx upon dt is equals to 2 upon 5. And there you go. That's your final answer. Okay, now I know what you guys are probably thinking. You guys are probably thinking that why did we take dv? Okay, we should have taken dh as well. Okay, and you're absolutely right. We could have done that. We could have taken dh as well. Okay, in fact, On the second thought, I would prefer that you take DH. Okay, DH, I just realized that this is a 2-mark question. That would have been a lot easier. Okay. Yes, I completely agree with that. Not perfect and Heather, that taking DH would have been a lot easier. Okay, but chalo koi baat nahi. Now we know that there's another way to solve this. Okay, if you want, chalo I'll use DH as well to show you guys how it works. So we want to find out dx upon dt. So इधर dx आएगा, इधर dt आएगा. अब यहाँ पे हम dh ले सकते हैं. Yes, that's much easier. I completely agree with that. So dh upon dt is something again we already have. We just worked it out. In fact, it's root 3 upon 15. ठीक है. And then you can find out dh upon dx by simply differentiating it. उससे भी आंसर आ जाएगा. ठीक है. So this is an alternate method. Had I noticed that this is a 2-mark question, I would have used this. Okay, but honestly speaking, it didn't occur to me then. Okay. Sir, if a topic like simultaneous equation came in paper 2, could it also come in? Okay, so simultaneous equation can just pop anywhere. Okay. मैं आप लोग paper 1 करके आ जाएं, inshallah. Then I'll let you guys know. Let me know what comes in paper 1. And then I'll let you guys know what exactly you need to prepare for in paper 2. ठीक है. So अभी आप चिल करें, अभी आप सारे टॉपिक्स पढ़ें. जब पेपर 1 करके आ जाएं तो मुझे बता दीजिएगा. I'll let you guys know what to do. Okay, now what about this? This is another supposedly insanely difficult question. You guys want to do this? Sir, how many significant figures to leave answer in? 3 significant figures. Okay, 3 significant figures, but it's always best to write it in exact form. If the answer is in exact form, doesn't matter what it is, square root, ln, e, whatever. Just write it in exact form. Okay, so why don't you guys try this question and let me know when you have the answer. ज़्यादा practice बेटा differentiation integration की होनी चाहिए. Okay, goes without saying. Differentiation integration is one of those topics that you will find in both the papers. Differentiation हो गया, integration हो गया, trigonometry हो गया. You will find that in paper 1 as well as paper 2, because they have so many small concepts. Okay, you have so many small concepts within differentiation that even if you're tested in paper 1, it's still not enough. You can have it in paper 2 as well. Same goes for integration. So if let's say you have area under the curve in one paper, then you can have equation of the curve in the other paper. Okay, so once you guys are done with paper 1, then we'll see what we need to prepare for paper 2. Okay, like we did in math में जैसे मैंने अभी एक वीडियो बनाई है ना, where I've talked about the questions you need to prepare for in paper 2, or the topics you need to focus on for paper 2. We'll do that for AdMaths as well, inshallah. Do you have a video on this concept? I'm not too sure if I have a video on this concept. I think I do. Hey, even if I don't, my advice is that you just go through the past paper videos. That's more than enough. Okay, उससे भी आपको समझ आ जाएगा for sure. I do upload streams. All streams are uploaded. Okay, all the streams that I do are all uploaded. There's a playlist of live streams at Maths. Okay, it's uploaded, you'll find it there. And there's a playlist of live streams O-level / IGCSE. Usme you will find graphs of functions. Graphs of functions is there. People are watching it. Okay, let me know when you guys give up. Although I'm not encouraging you to give up, but if you do let me know. You give up. Well, like I said, I wasn't encouraging you guys to give up. Tell me if you guys have given up, then I'll do it. Okay, so let's see what it says. So it says the volume of a cone of height h and base radius r is given by so and so. It is known that sine pi equals to so and so, cos pi upon 12 equals to so and so. Okay, and tan pi upon 12 equals to so and so. Okay. Then it says the water is in the shape of a cone with its vertical axis. The diagrams show the cup and its cross section. The vertical angle of the cone is pi upon 6 radian. Okay. The depth of water in the cup is h. The surface of the water is a circle of radius r. Okay, that's a lot of information. Find an expression for r in terms of h and show that the volume of water in the cup is given by so and so. Okay, इतना भी मुश्किल नहीं है वैसे, you know, you just have to break it down, take it step by step, and you guys should have been able to do it. Chalo, khair, I'll do it. So first of all, this is what we're going to use. This is the triangle that we're going to use. 7 minus 4 under root 3. So maybe it requires a bit of simplification. That's how we end up with this. Okay. So we need to find out r in terms of h. So let's focus on this part first. Okay. Find r in terms of h. So r is technically what? R is technically this. ठीक है. अब आप खुद ही ज़रा थोड़ा dots को connect करना सीखें. Notice के the angle that's given is pi upon 6. All right. The angle that's given to us is pi upon 6. Okay. And sine, cos, and tan that we're given is of pi upon 12. So what exactly is going on over here? How come we have pi upon 12, pi upon 12, pi upon 12 over here, and here we have pi upon 6? You know, सोचने की बात है ना? Okay, good job, Heather. Good job. That's actually a good. That's a considerable achievement. Okay. So the reason why we have pi upon 12 is because it gets divided by 2. Okay. When you draw a line, when you draw a perpendicular line, the angle gets divided by 2. So that's why we have pi upon 12. Okay. So this is pi upon 12. This is r that we have to find out, and here's h. Okay. Now how can we find out h? We can use tan. Yeah. So this is the opposite length. Okay. And here is the adjacent length. So we can use tan of pi upon 12, which is equal to opposite upon adjacent. Now if you cross multiply, so r is equals to tan pi upon 12. So what's tan pi upon 12? That is equal to 2 minus under root 3. So tan pi upon 12 का पहले replace कर लें with 2 minus under root 3. Okay. Equals to r upon h. Now you make r the subject. So r is equals to 2 minus under root 3 into h. So that's what we had to do. We had to find out r in terms of h. We've done that. And that is not the answer to the first part, but at least we're there. Okay. So there you go. That's your answer to the that's what we're going to use in order to find out the volume. Okay. Now how do you find out the volume of a cone? Volume of a cone is nothing but 1 upon 3 pi r square h. Okay. So volume of this cone is going to be 1 upon 3 into pi r square into h, and in place of h we will have 2. Actually, wait a minute. We're supposed to do it in terms of h. Okay, my bad. So since we're supposed to do it in terms of h, here's what we're going to do. 1 upon 3 into pi. Pure r ki jagah we'll have 2 minus under root 3 into h, and then don't forget to square it. Okay, and then we'll have this multiplied by h again. Okay, now अब आप ज़रा तैयार हो जाएं. There's a significant amount of simplification that's required over here. Okay, now before we start off with that, let's make sure that we've done everything correctly so far. 2 minus under root 3 into h, 2 minus under root 3 into h. Are we supposed to find r in terms of h? Yep, r in terms of h. Okay, so we're on the right track so far. Now comes the fun part. Okay, so v is equals to 1 upon 3 pi. So here's what I'm going to do. H squared will be h squared. When you multiply it by h, you get h cubed. So here's h cubed. Okay, I'll write this separately. And this is getting multiplied by 2 minus under root 3, the whole thing square. Okay, now let's expand this. So this becomes 4 minus 4 under root 3 plus 3. अभी कोई पूछ रहा था ना कि ये 7 minus 4 under root 3 कहाँ से आया? So I hope you have found the answer to your question. 4 plus 3 is 7. So this is what we're looking at. 1 upon 3 into pi. 7 minus 4 under root 3 into h cubed. There you go. That's your answer. Haji, so maza aaya? What are your thoughts about this? Okay. Now, let's do part 2. Let's see what part 2 says. Part 2 says water is poured into a cup at a rate of 30 centimeter cube per second. Find, correct to 2 decimal places, the rate at which the depth of the water is increasing when h equals to 5. Why 4 under root 3? Okay, we've used the identity over here. A square minus 2ab plus b square. Okay. So 2 into 2 into under root 3 makes it 4 under root 3. Yeah. Use the identity. Okay. Would have done it if I didn't make the silly mistake of taking pi by 6 instead of pi upon 12. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Alright, so water is poured into a cup at a rate of so and so. So that means we're talking about dv upon dt over here, which is 30 centimeter cube per second. Find, correct to 2 decimal places, the rate at which the depth of the water is increasing when h equals to 5. Okay, so that means we need to find out dh upon dt. Okay, and when do we need dh upon dt? We need dh upon dt when h equals to 5. Okay, now let's set up a chain rule. Dh upon dt can be found by multiplying two fractions. The numerator of the first one will be dh. The denominator of the second one will be dt. Up here and here we'll have something that's the same and also relevant. So what's same and relevant? dv and dv. Okay, so as far as dv upon dt goes, that we already have. As far as dh upon dv goes, that is something that we'll have to find out, for which we're going to use the volume. We're going to use the equation for volume. Okay, so let's copy this, bring this here. Okay, it's too soon to say anything about P3. Okay, अगर आपका P3 और S1 दोनों miss हो गए, then as far as the email that I checked, as far as that is concerned, I think you'll have to resit for it in October, November. So 3 gets multiplied by 1 upon 3, so that's 3 upon 3 pi into 7 minus 4 under root 3. Actually, not reset, but give it in October, November. Yeah, so 3 and 3 gets cancelled out, and now we have pi into 7 minus 4 under root 3 h squared. And what is h equal to? H is equals to 5, so we multiply it by 5. So pi into 7 minus 4 under root 3 into 25. So this becomes 25 pi into 7 minus 4 under root 3. Okay, so here is dv upon dh. Keep it in exact form till you have the final answer. So we had to find dh upon dt. So dh upon dv will be the reciprocal of it. That means 1 upon 25 pi into 7 minus 4 under root 3. Okay, so this is dh upon dv multiplied by dv upon dt, which is 30. Okay, now let's see what we get. This is it, the moment of truth. 30 upon 25 pi into 7 minus 4 under root 3. Okay, so we're getting 5.32. And let me see if that's the correct answer. So dh upon dt is equals to 5.32. Let me see if that is the correct answer. Yep, 5.32 it is. So there you go. Now once again, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this question? Mid. What do you mean by mid? Easy, Chane. That's great. You find it easy. Okay, so what do you guys say? Let's do one more question and call it off. Let's do another question of small change. And then let's call it off. Kya khayal hai? Tuesday को paper है. What do you mean? बेटा अगर आपने बेसिक डिफ्रेंसिएशन करना है ना, देन आई हैव अ प्लेलिस्ट ऑन डिफ्रेंसिएशन. इट्स नॉट कंप्लीट बट एटलीस्ट आपकी बेसिक्स तो वहाँ से कवर हो जाएंगी. ओके, चलें. सो आई लाइक यू गाइस टू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन क्विकली. Solve this question. This is the last question. Yes, product rule लगेगा. You'll have to use product rule over here. Apply product rule. Tell me what the answer is. So now I'll solve it on the side here. U is x minus 4, u prime will be 1. V is 3x minus 1 to the power 5 upon 3, which means v prime is going to be 5 upon 3 into 3x minus 1 to the power 5 upon 3 minus 1. Let's see what that is. 5 upon 3 minus 1, that's 2 upon 3. Okay, into 3. So this 3 and this 3 gets cancelled out. V prime is equals to 5 into 3x minus 1 to the power of 2 upon 3. So vu prime plus uv prime. Vu prime basically means 3x minus 1 to the power 5 upon 3. Okay, plus uv prime basically means 5 into x minus 4 into 3x minus 1 to the power of 2 upon 3. Yeah, okay. Now what can we take common over here? We can take 3x minus 1 to the power 2 upon 3 common. Okay, so if we take 3x minus 1 to the power 2 upon 3 common, so in order to turn 3x minus 1 to the power 2 upon 3 into 3x minus 1 to the power 5 upon 3, we need to multiply it by 3x minus 1 to the power of 1. Okay, or maybe just with 3x minus 1, that's the same thing. Okay, plus 5 into x minus 4. Okay, so this is what we now have, 3x minus 1 to the power 2 upon 3 into 3x minus 1 plus 5x minus 20. Okay, so let's simplify this. Let's see what do we get. So 3x plus 5x is 8x, 8x minus 21 multiplied by 3x minus 1 to the power 2 upon 3. This is dy by dx. Okay, so there you go. Just be confident about what you're doing, okay, and don't make a simplification error or something like that, and you'll be fine, inshallah. Okay. Achha, then the next part is fairly easy. It says, hence find in terms of h, where h is small, the approximate change in y when x increases from 3 to 3 plus h. So that means the small change in x is h, okay, and you need to find out the small change in y. So small change in y over small change in x, remember, is approximately equal to dy upon dx. So small change in x की जहाँ तक बात है, that is h. dy by dx में हम x की initial value रखेंगे, which is 3. So that let's do that on the side over here. So dy by dx, 3 into 3 minus 1 to the power of 2 upon 3 into 8 into 3 minus 21. Okay, so 3 into 3 is 9, 9 minus 1 is 8, 8 to the power of 2 upon 3, let's see what that is equal to. That's equal to 4. 4 into 8 into 3 minus 21, that's 3, so that means dy by dx is equals to 12. So dy by dx equals to 12. Now that you have dy by dx, that's all you need. So small change in y is equals to 12h. And there you go. That's your answer. Okay. So we'll keep it till here only. Alright, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. I'll announce what I'm streaming tomorrow on my Instagram, so you guys can check it from there. Add math A, inshallah, A star. Why settle for an A when you can get an A star, inshallah? So I'll see, like I said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, so take care, everyone. Allah Hafiz. I'll upload this solved version, this partially solved version, in the Dropbox folder, which you'll find in the description. Okay, so keep studying and keep working hard.